What's going on, everyone? So the Lakers press conference just ended and basically got what you wanted, right? Talked about trades, which I want to touch on in this video. Rob diving into that. And I was a little surprised he didn't mention the CBA, but we'll dive into that here in a moment. But also JJ Redick kind of diving into the systems and the structure and coaching staff and what he expects from various players and teams, stuff like that. So got a lot of stuff to kind of break down in videos ahead, so definitely stay tuned for those things. Definitely going to do several videos, but kind of want to make individual videos to really kind of focus on certain points that JJ brought, as well as Rob Pelinka. But in this video, I want to talk about the trade market, because that was something that was incredibly hyped all offseason. That was something that was, it was like, hey, the Lakers got all these picks, right? Going into the draft, they had 3 firsts. Obviously, getting Dalton Connect kind of basically took a first off the table, because it was just like, man, Dalton Connect, he was as high as a top 5 pick on many people's draft boards, right? The Lakers didn't even work out Connect because nobody thought he was going to fall that far. So it was kind of like, hey, you got a guy that you wanted, the type of player that you'd want that can make an immediate impact, kind of like an acquisition, be not necessarily high end through a trade, but kind of like a free agency signing almost. But the Lakers still have 2 firsts. They have several pick swaps, as well as I think they have like 4 seconds that they can trade. Plus, they have all these contracts, D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, right? All these guys are looked at to be key pieces right now, but the Lakers are planning and are going to continue to be active in the trade market. Now, I thought Rob Pelinka was going to be like, well, the new CBA, it makes things up. They actually did it. He said, we were very active. We were looking for trades all offseason. We're open and are willing to trade both firsts if it makes sense for this team, not just now, but future, right? Which is something that I've talked about, right? Rob Pelinka basically said and preached patience without preaching patience, right? Without saying the word patience. He's saying we're going to continue to evaluate. We're going to continue to look for the right trades. We're going to continue to look for the right moves. Those opportunities for trades were not on the table this offseason, which he's not wrong. It's something I've talked about. I mean, look at the trades or non-trades that have happened. Literally, everybody that is available right now, we're all available at the trade deadline, right? Nothing's changed as far as the trade market goes. DeJounte Murray was kind of the one guy that was available that ended up getting traded to the Pelicans, but outside of that, everybody that's on the trade market has been on the trade market for some times. Nobody's biting because all these teams have insane asking prices. Like Rob Pelinka said, we're willing to even do one trade or one first if it's something that helps us improve on the margins, right? He said, hey, he basically threw out to these teams, we're open, right? We're willing to make trades. We're willing to upgrade this roster. We're willing to give up those firsts. Right? It's not something where it's like, hey, we're solely looking at the future. No, we want to win now. They talked about it. They stressed it, right? That they are going to continue to look and evaluate, and kind of Rob Pelinka said, it's our job to do so, and he's going to continue to do his job, continue to do his due diligence. But I've defended it in a lot of ways, right? There isn't a trade on the table right now that makes sense. What I've talked about all offseason is that the Lakers need this right? Jeremy Grant Cam Johnson right? They need multiple guys. If they really want to raise the ceiling to contention status, they need multiple guys, right? It can't just be, bringing in Jeremy Grant. Yeah, it raises the ceiling slightly, but there's still a gap, right? Rob Pelinka wants to close that gap. Rob Pelinka wants to put them in a position, not just for this season though. Right? He wants to, if you're going to pull off a trade, you want that trade to make sense across the board. You don't want to get a guy that's going to come in. It's like, okay, yeah, we have one shot here to win a championship, and then it's all going to come crumbling down. No, you want to get a piece. You want to get players, multiple trades, multiple pieces that now you don't have to keep having this roster turnover, right? And that's what Rob Pelinka is getting at. Hey, look, we want to pull off a trade. We want to upgrade this roster. He did say that, because of the new systems in place, there's not as many, which CBA, right? He didn't say the CBA, but he didn't use it as an excuse, which is what I liked. He just said that, hey, there's not the options. Teams are being a little more reluctant than they would have been in the past, which makes sense. Again, I don't look at that as an excuse. I look at that as the facts. Like that's the reality, right? Like teams aren't willing to just take on salary just to take on salary anymore. Teams aren't willing. Teams are very meticulous about how they're going to approach trades going forward. Again, it's not an excuse. It's the reality. Right? So many people talk about all these teams made upgrades and all these teams did that. Like who? Right? Like, again, the only trades this offseason were all sign and trade deals. They were free agents that signed new contracts and wanted max money. DeMar DeRozan wasn't worth the money that he got. Right? Again, and it was a risk for the Lakers. Right? Like, again, I was an advocate for DeMar DeRozan, but there were concerns. I also said that there were concerns with DeMar DeRozan, but he also wasn't worth, 25 million a year, 26 million a year that he's getting. Like, if it was like 20 million, 18 million, then probably, but that difference is the difference between you being a second apron team, which basically now you're handcuffed, or you staying under those aprons and things like that. Klay Thompson. I would have loved to have Klay Thompson, right? But there's still risk. There's still, like, has he really fallen off a cliff? I mean, even Mark Cuban is out here like, well, we hope, like he didn't even seem confident in Klay Thompson on Dallas, right? And DeMar DeRozan on the Sacramento Kings makes no sense, right? Like it's like, how does that work, right? I've dove into that enough. So for those that know, if not, then go check out some previous videos diving into that. But OKC definitely, I think, made some upgrades. Pelicans, right? Getting DeJounte Murray, that was one of the real trades. And what I mean by real trades is like, hey, we'll give you this player or these players for this player, not just like, hey, you're a free agent and we want to sign you and we're willing to give you the money type thing, right? And DeJounte Murray is the one that I'm like, the Lakers dropped the ball on that one, right? In my opinion, the Lakers, that was the move that you were supposed to make and you didn't. And that is frustrating. But the Pelicans are a sinking ship right now. They have no center. Brandon Ingram's like not showing up to training camps and stuff like that. Wants nothing to do with the team. Right? They're on the brink of imploding. Right? Like, again, like no trades have happened yet because, right? Like Rob Pelinka said, everyone is approaching this very different. Everyone wants to be sure. There is no margin for error in these types of trades anymore. And the Lakers are doing their due diligence. They are being active in the trade market. They are being active in the trade front and trying to find those right pieces. But like Rob said, we want to do trades. We want to improve and make this roster better. But we can't just do a trade. We can't just do a trade just to make everyone happy. It has to be the right moves. It has to be the right trades. It has to increase our ceiling. It has to make us what we want to be. To trade all these guys to go get Jeremy Grant, give up 2 firsts, and 1, now you're stuck with Jeremy Grant. You're trapped. But another big thing he talked about is something that I made a video on, was yesterday, I think the video posted yesterday, is waiting and being patient and evaluating what you need. And that was something Rob Pelinka said, right? And JJ Redick. That, yes, they want to do trades, they want to do those things, but they also want to see, like, what is our biggest need, right? Because what if Rui does improve defensively? What if Rui does kind of give us what we want from Jeremy Grant? Well, now we don't need Jeremy Grant no more. Why would we go give up all our assets to go get Jeremy Grant when Rui Hachimura is able to do it, right? Like, and then, the center position. Like, what if Christian Koloko is great? Like, what if he is the guy that kind of solves that, right? What if he is, an 8-8 guy with, he's our JaVale McGee type, right? We might not need to go get some center. We might not need to trade all our assets to go get Valanciunas. We might be able to go get another piece that makes sense. Maybe upgrade at the guard position, or maybe you do upgrade at the center position, or maybe you can get multiple pieces. Point is that Rob Pelinka and JJ Redick stressed that, we want to kind of evaluate and see, right? JJ Redick believes that he can kind of mold some of these guys, right? Like he talked about with Austin Reeves, like this bubble. Right? And he doesn't want to take away from the bubble. He doesn't want to pop the bubble. He just wants to make the bubble a little bigger. He wants to expand his game. Talk the same thing about Rui Hachimura. I like the idea of evaluating and seeing, okay, what do we really need? Right now we have the assumption, hey, we really need a big man desperately, which I don't think will change, and we really need a legit 3-and-D wing. Right? We're getting killed out on the perimeter. Right? But again, what if Rui can be that guy? What if Rui can defend, maybe not necessarily elite. I don't think he'll be this like elite defender. I don't think he'll be Jared Vanderbilt defensively, but can he be good enough to where, okay, we're fine in that department. We got size at the 3, right? Physicality. He's able to hold his own on the defensive end. Maybe we need to go get that point of attack guard, right? So maybe we are looking at a Bruce Brown, or maybe we can convince an Orlando Magic to give us a Jalen Suggs or something like that, right? Like, I'm okay with being patient. I'm okay with evaluating and seeing what do the Lakers truly need, and rather than making the assumption, and it's like, okay, like we just sold the farm to go get Jeremy Grant, right? And it's like, okay, well, now what? Now we're stuck with Jeremy Grant. We're not better, right? We're in basically the same team, same boat, same everything, right? Because again, they want 2 firsts for Jeremy Grant, right? But Rob, again, I think that this was part of Rob kind of throwing it out, right? Like, hey, we're open for business, guys. We'll give up a first for a marginal trade. He didn't say we're only going to give up a first for a superstar. He didn't say, we're only going to give up a first for a guy that makes us a true contender. No, he said marginal trade. If we can increase in the margins, we will give up a first in order to do so. But none of those guys right now are at the price that it would cost, and none of those guys are worth it. None of those guys are the significant marginal upgrades. Right? He's not saying we need a star. He's not saying, I'm only trading a first for Steph. No, he's saying we'll give up the first. If you want to give us Jeremy Grant for a first, sure, we'll do it right now. Let's go. But no, you want 2 firsts. It's not worth 2 firsts. We'll give up both firsts. We'll trade both firsts. But we're only going to give up and trade both firsts if it really brings us to that contention status, which is what I've been saying all offseason, right? Like, I don't want to see the Lakers give up all of their assets to just make us slightly better. From us going from, a play-in team like many people think to like, okay, now we're the 6th seed. No, I want us, if we're going to do trades, let's do trades to where we go from, in that, let's say 6 to 8 range to now we're in that 2 to 4 range. And we are one of the best 5 teams in the league, right? That's what I'd like to see. So patience is key. Hopefully, Lakers continue to remain patient. But as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What did you think of what was said by Rob Pelinka and JJ Redick? Are you excited for this season coming up? Do you think that they will make some trades at some point? Do you think nothing's just going to come to fruition? Is there anybody that you think is worth giving up 2 firsts, right? Because I see so many people mention you got to do trade, you got to do that. Okay, well, who's worth giving up both your firsts for? Because that's the asking price for everybody right now. Right? Jeremy Grant, 2 firsts. Cam Johnson, 2 firsts. Right? Bruce Brown supposedly can be had for 1 first, but he just had surgery. Right? And we already don't have Christian Wood, and Jared Vanderbilt is up in the air and questionable. Right? So it's like, do we really want to go give up a first for a guy that's injured? If we can get him for like a second or a couple seconds, then yeah, maybe it's worth the risk, because if he can get healthy, like that solves a big need, and we still have our first. But it's just things like that. We'll see how this plays out. But anyway, again, how you feel, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.